Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome back to Nerdin' Out. I'm joined by my gaggle of nerds.
Never been called that
Ag-
before. I'm Nathaniel. What's up?
I'm just trying to think of new things to call you guys.
Yeah, I like it.
Co-hosts. You've never called us co-hosts.
That
God damn.
That's so true.
That sounded personal.
So
So
he's
my
like,
name's
I'm ready for my day in the sun.
Not both your guys' quality sounds garbage.
Yeah, sorry. I yelled and threw my face to the side for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay, David. We're equals, I think.
You think we're the talent.
Equally cringe.
Well,
Yeah.
if you think about it this way, like when it comes down to just like not even hierarchical, but just like in the the chain of events, it was I had the idea, brought it to Nathaniel, he said yes, and then I asked you, David. So it's like,
Yeah, you recognize that the show needed talent.
yeah.
It's only
I
natural.
was gonna say David's just third wheeling, but you know what?
Hey,
We are the Trinity of
Tricycles.
nerds.
Well, yeah, like if you think about it, the big wheel, and you guys are the two squeaky ones back, and David's the one that's always, scraping against the concrete.
So this is on David podcast today, apparently. Let's just keep going.
No, this is
Welcome to you.
David. This is revenge for your David podcast a couple episodes
God,
ago.
I'm never gonna live that down, am I? That hasn't even
No.
aired.
No, we're
Yes,
all going to
it
be in a
has.
nursing home, and we're just going to. It has, yeah.
Oh God.
It's out there.
Yeah, it's been up.
Our trauma is available for the masses if they so wish to find it.
Look, can't you even see? If we just release like 50 goats.
Goats?
That's it. That's all you get.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Clip that. Just what?
50
What?
goats.
50 goats.
What are we talking about
These 50
today?
goats.
I wish I
It's,
knew.
yeah. Oh, you do? Oh, well, I'd be glad to tell you.
Oh, really,
so-
Evan?
Yeah, I would. So we like to talk about things that we don't like because it makes for funny content because it's fun to hear about us rage about. But
Haha.
but on the contrary to popular belief, we actually do like some things. We actually as the title of our podcast would suggest, we are nerds and we like video games. So much so that we have so many games that we like that we can't pick just one. So, as the opposite of our bottom 5 video games, we're doing our top 5 video games. We're going to do it a similar way. We're going to say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Going to try to keep it brief, try to keep it tight. But yeah, we have games that we like, and we have games that we like to gush about, and we wish more people would know about. So, do either of you want to start, or you guys?
Yeah, so I think we should start from number 5. This is, I think if we have a very brief, even without going into it, like, honorable mentions, and then go into 5.
Yeah. Oh God, honorable mentions. I mean,
Yeah.
honorable
I'm
mentions
gonna-
for me is it could be anything from like the PlayStation days, like Crash Bandicoot, any of those, because it's just very nostalgic for me. But you could also say Pajama Sam and all that stuff, the stuff that Dave
Oh man,
talked
I played
about.
Pajama Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day when I was a kid. But I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of my honorable mentions of games that I wish I could include, but we only got 5. So,
All right.
Cyberpunk 2077, absolutely amazing. Did make my top 5. Portal 2, I played through a few times. One of the few games that's really good content. It's hard to do. Tears of the Kingdom. Oh my gosh, I love that
Wow,
game.
really?
Yeah.
Really? That's not in the top 5? Wow.
No, it's so hard to cut it out. Persona 5 is great. Pokemon, Metroid Prime games are great. So those are all ones that didn't make it. My number 5 is going to be Hades. So we love ourselves some Greek mythology.
Oh, yeah.
And adaptations up, based off it. We did a podcast on the epic musical. Hades is a
Isn't
is
Hades just the game where you simp over every character?
That's one way you could look at it. They do have very diverse, sexy characters for you to drool over. In this game, you play as Zagreus. Your daddy-o is Hades. So what you're doing is you're trying to escape from hell because you're unhappy with the way your father treats you. He's like he's a dictator basically that just is very closed off emotionally, and I don't want to be here anymore. I want to get out of here. So it's a roguelike, so you're basically just, playing the same path over, getting upgrades. The gameplay is really fun, really fast paced, and there's a lot of modifiers that you can put on. You have like I think 8 different weapons you can use. There's like a bow, a sword, gauntlets, and it's like I played so many hours of this thing. But really what kept me coming back was the story, the character. So there's an insane amount of recorded dialogue. Like it feels like it never ends. Like even still, there's character interactions I haven't gone through. And it's just the quality of not just the voice acting, but the characters and the depth of them is so good. Like the turnaround that you have with Hades, and finding your mother and everything. It's just, it's so well done. It's just some of my favorite written characters. The score is also just top tier. Um, but they recently came out with the second one that I've played maybe 70 hours of. It's not fully finished because it's early access. But it's even better than the first one in terms of like the content, the amount of content, but it's very high quality content. It's the first sequel that this studio has made, Supergiant Games. Because they usually do original things, but yeah, I think Hades is yeah, it's one of my favorite games. Definitely earns my 5th spot.
Nice.
What about you, David?
Okay, well, honorable mentions first. God, huge list. I'd have to agree with Pokemon, most of the Pokemon games. I have to have an honorable mention for those. Oh God. Donkey Kong 64, any of the Mario Party games. God, I mean, the list can be ridiculous. Dark Souls 3, the Gungeon. There's so many games. My theme here is going to be I have different favorites for different consoles. And so I'm going to kind of go in a crescendo of like, okay, here's the peak game, peak console. Like, this is how I feel tough. So I'm going to start with a handheld console, and it's a little tricky because I actually have 2 favorites. One of which I stated before, which is Golden Sun. Huge fan of that game. Huge fan of it in many ways. However, it has been supplanted, ironically, by a different favorite from a different console because it got ported to it. So my favorite for that would be Majora's Mask 3D on the 3DS because they refined the game. They made it so much like crisper, nicer to look at. They added a lot of really nice features that just were quality of life things, like the journal to be able to track when things happen. They cleaned up a couple of weird bits, but it kept its ominousity. It kept its uneasy feeling, its function, its form. So that's gonna be my 5th pick. I love.
And they fine-tuned the controls too, right? They're not as dated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there are some pieces about the original game that were kind of odd. Some boss fight mechanics, so it's like, why would I use this when it's literally just better to do this? Like, specifically, like in the mountain temple, you're supposed to basically, as a Goron in the original game, you're supposed to chase after Goat, which is just a giant bull and a mechanical bull, and you're supposed to chase after him and hit him in the legs, and then when he gets stunned, you're punching him as a Goron. People ended up being like, that's stupid. I'm just gonna stand still as he makes his laps and shoot him with fire arrows, and that's actually faster. And so people were like, "Wow, this is actually and the same could be said for Twin Mold, which is the stone/desert temple or canyon, I think. Anyway, same thing. It was kind of like, oh, you get the Giant's mask once in the game, and you just swing your sword as a giant, and that's it. Like, it's not really an engaging fight. So they fixed both of those, and they
Nice.
made it much more like to the cause of why they wanted to have you use your other stuff.
Sweet.
So
David, can you speak up? You're very quiet.
Oh.
first I'm too loud, now I'm too quiet, eh? There we go.
You sound
How about
very
that?
far away, I gotta say.
I don't think that was even the problem. I don't think you were too close. I think. Well, no, I think that was part of it, but
Probably.
it's okay. We're out of practice. We're out of practice.
We are.
That's way
But yeah.
better. Okay.
Majora's Mask. I mean, it belongs there. It should be there. I was kind of like, oh, do
No.
I keep it on Nintendo 64 because it's the OG one? But let's be honest, when they did what they did to it, it made it so much nicer. It made it so much greater. Tons of runner-ups for it, obviously, like Golden Sun, Metroid Fusion, Pokemon games.
Cool.
But I mean, of the handheld stuff, that would be peak. That would be the one I would play.
Mhm.
Very nice. Evan.
For me, number 5, it's kind of it's tied in a weird way because they're two that are connected. So back in 2013 was the last time a college football game and a Madden football game were actually connected, where you could draft classes and stuff of like college players into Madden. And I did that all the time, and that was like my favorite thing, coaching college and having all these college kids, then having them graduate and go in the NFL, and then import the draft class over, and then have them be in Madden and all that stuff. They don't do that in the most recent college games that came out, which that was disappointing for me. But I remember just hours and hours of just doing that, and they had customizable recruiting classes for college, so you can make all of my friends, and I can do all that stuff, and it was fun. One of my friends would go to a different college for some reason. I'd be like, "You asshole," and so it was, yeah. So that was super fun, and it was also back when before all the sports games started to get super like microtransaction-y with like Ultimate Team and stuff like that. Just more having fun and just like playing with your friends and goofing off and all that stuff, and then before it got into like, oh, use the meta plays to win tournaments, just so there's just a lot of nostalgia behind it. Yeah, that's it. You can't really pick one without the other because they're connected, and that was the last time they did it, and it's been like 13 years since they've done that again. So
it's gonna become give me your money constantly.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately,
it's just been very, very, very money hungry, and a lot of studios just in general don't get what game anymore. Anyway,
what are the names of the two games again?
So it was NCAA 14, and then it was Madden 25, which is weird because another 25 came out this year, but it was based off the year, whereas that was like the 25th anniversary of Madden.
Interesting.
So rather than being NCAA 14 and Madden 14, it was Madden 25, and it was yeah,
it's like that's a big anniversary number.
Yeah, which everyone was kind of like, well, what's gonna happen when it's actually Madden 25? And they just called it Madden 25. They didn't do anything different. So it was just kind of fun. But yeah, that's my number 5, kind of sharing the spots. But
nice. Are we back to me?
Yeah, we'll just go in a circle.
Okay. So my next pick on the list, I'm gonna say the numbering on my list to it's a little bit more fluid, but anyway, number 4, Marvel Spider-Man. So they did
Same,
make a number
same,
two.
same
Yeah,
for me.
same for you. So they did make a number two,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
number 4 for me too.
awesome. And I do love the second game, but I think the first one just did such a perfect job of
Yes,
encapsulating Spider-Man, like in terms of like film, TV, anything. I think this is the best Spider-Man we've got.
100%.
Yeah, Yuri just did such an amazing job of giving Spider-Man everything that people love about the
He got
character.
robbed of voice actor that year. He got robbed.
Oh, at the Game Awards.
Yeah, the
that
Game
year.
Awards that year, he got robbed. Like you can never convince me otherwise.
Yeah, it's just the just the sweetness and the relatableness and
Just the
the
emotions,
the
like just in
darkness, all the
general. Yeah,
emotions, yeah, the like genuineness of the character and his
yeah,
struggles, and the duality of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He just is the best voiced Spider-Man, in
yeah,
my opinion. It's just
yeah.
everything that I want. And the
Absolutely.
gameplay is, so fun. There's
The gameplay,
Arkham
the gameplay
Asylum in
was
the
fantastic.
sky and on the ground.
Yeah, yeah. It had Arkham elements, but it was definitely a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just I just loved it so much. I spent so many
Oh, so
hours
good.
taking photos,
And
which is not even like the main part of the game,
no, but
you know.
but it was part of it.
Yeah, and it's
But
just
yeah,
such a good
and
game.
I know what you mean too with Spider-Man 2. Like it was still really good, but it was just missing something. There was just something that it was missing, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. Probably, if I had to put something on it, it was probably how it had like 10 less hours of story. But that's but that's just my own thing, and also significantly less DLC, even though they're gonna have DLC, and now it's still kind of up
Yeah,
in
they
the
just
air whether
canceled
or
it.
not. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of it'll bleed into the third game. They're gonna
Oh
reuse
yeah.
some of that,
Oh,
but
for
it,
sure.
it does feel like a lesser experience as much as I love that game.
But yeah, Spider-Man 2 was great for its own reasons, but yeah,
Mhm.
Spider-Man the first one for PS4 was like phenomenal.
Yeah, I remember
Absolutely.
when it came out, we were both freaking out and just
Oh
like,
yeah, we were you're like, "Oh!" Yeah.
yeah, basically.
I mean,
And David,
we had an whole episode about it. So,
yeah,
yeah.
hmm
You actually
obviously
feel
we love
like
that game.
Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh!
It's a very good walking simulator.
Yeah, exactly. Love
David,
to-
what
love
about
to hear it.
you? What's number 4 for you, David?
Oh gosh. So number 4 for me, jumping to a different console now, is I have to go to ye old Nintendo. I have to go away from it because I have to jump to Xbox, and I have to say Halo Reach because that was a game. That was a game that was a big, huge, massive part of my life. Not only just in the sense of like immersing me into the franchise of Halo and everything about it.
Mhm.
And don't even get me started on the Halo show because holy what a disappointment. Can we retcon it? Get the person who does Fallout to make Halo so we can get some respect on the name. God damn it. But
They broke
Halo
the number
Reach was-
one rule of Halo. They
Dude,
showed,
you took
showed-
off the helmet. You
don't do that.
God damn it. Like
that's like the number one rule.
Like even is how bad is it that even Robot Chicken knew not to do it in their skit? Like they made a whole skit about it where it's just like, dude, I can't tell if you're white or black or what. And he's just like, I'm ambiguous to let the viewer decide. And he's like, I don't know what to do with that. But yeah,
I'm whoever the player needs me to be to identify.
Yeah, it's like what the you took off the why? Did the actor need that much credibility? He needed to take his face off? Like,
I mean, The Mandalorian did it better.
God damn,
Yeah.
did they ever? And at least then it was of a purpose where it's like, oh, he took it off, but not really, and like, cool.
I was gonna say he
But,
took it
yeah.
off because no living person was gonna see it, or
And it
to
plays-
say goodbye to his adoptive son. Like it was like, come on, like
They made it a good, like even with him, it wouldn't have mattered whose face was underneath. What
No.
mattered was the story beat, the connection, right?
yeah.
With I haven't seen the Halo show, but what was it? Just like, oh, he has a face, like.
Yep. It was literally, you know what I think it was? It was the actor was like, oh, I'll sign up for this, but I need my face to be known so they know it's me. And it's like, dude, off. You're playing one of the most iconic. Like, how would it be if they finally make a Gears of War series and they're like, hey, we know your helmets are off for most of this, but it's not realistic to the fights. They're actually going to make you wear helmets the whole time. I'd be like, I'm watching this goddamn show. You know, like it's stupid. Like we don't have any sensibility on behalf of these screenwriters. It's like half of
That's
them.
why.
They play,
That's why I know that. That's why I know that the 40K Warhammer thing that Henry Cavill's gonna do.
Oh man,
I know that's gonna be peak because he's not gonna play any of that.
No, he knows what he's doing with that, and he's already made plenty of statements about like he's going to be making as much, if not all of it, from the source material without any like, ad-libbing.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of excited for season 57 when they like basically are in space. Who even knows where they're going to be at that point? I'm sure it'll be canceled by then, but
God.
No, he definitely. I would. You know, it's rare to have an actor that comes good input. A lot of times you have them coming in, it's about themselves, but he like actually cares about source material. Anyway, I feel like Halo's been in a.
It's been a huge rut, and Infinite rather had a really good chance to make that good, and it did. It was okay. Its story was odd and integrating a lot more new stuff. And
story was there.
It was okay. I mean, it was no Halo 3 or 2.
It had an Act 1. It had an Act 2. It had an Act 1. It had an Act 2. It had an Act 3.
Yeah. For all intents and purposes, it was way better than Halo 5 Guardians, which by the way, if you had to call it Halo 5 Guardians, you fucked up. Like, you didn't need to do that.
Just
on top of that,
5.
You needed to have like a whole separate like team that you introduced and then quickly made redundant halfway through the game. What was that about? Just because you wanted to get more funny voice actors. And yes, it was cool. Yes, it was cool. You got the guy from ODST to show up. How cool. Yeah, great. Do it different, bro. Anyway, Halo Reach. Fantastic. It was the first game to introduce Forge mode in a functional way. Almost all of the online maps are made by people of the community. The game itself was like not 343. Yeah, hopefully not 343. Bungie's last hurrah before they ended up making their own Destiny and Destiny 2 and Destiny DLC and Destiny.
And Destiny.
Everybody wants to buy from me. So it was just so good. The multiplayer was good. The story was great. How much I love this game is also equivalent to the fact that like I have had friendships forged because we just played the game together. Like that's the way I have put every bit of like love into this game. And the fact it's not higher is also a credit to the other games I'm going to say, but
of course
this was so good to me.
And so good this is the top 5. This is the top 5. So you can't really go wrong with any of them.
This game, I have more fun, like laughing so hard that I almost like vomit from cough laughing, and that's a rarity for me. But like cough laughing because like, oh man, just moments.
Just a gravity hammer alone, just pure comedy.
So in the Forge mode, not only did they add so much stuff that you could change and edit just in the world, they added so many ways you can manipulate gravity and the way things interact. So there was literally a game mode called Killer Ice Skating, and you had the gravity hammer on one person, and then the rest had just the energy swords. But they turned the speed to at least 300%, and then put the gravity at 0, and they put you in a cage. So then you're basically just bouncing off the walls because they make it basically just bounce around. And man, like the moments where I'm just like, I'm alive and I'm dead. And it's so much fun. Because everything happens so fast, and like obviously big team battle, all of the fun game modes, Slayer, SWAT, everything, all of it. It's such a great game, well-rounded, and they put it in the Master Chief Collection, and they put it in, and they immediately gained 30% more players on their online platform when they did. So tell me that's not proof enough that it's a good game. Is that you put it in a remake, reclassified with games like with games like Halo 2, which is a lot of people's favorite. Notably good reason, and Halo 3, and unfortunately Halo 4, but all of that was in there, and you put Reach in, and it dominates so much when it comes to like playability, functionality. I'm done talking about it. Evan, what's your fourth?
Wait, before, just real quick, I think what's so great about that game is that it has an incredible single player mode, and then it has the online. It's like two high quality games in one.
Firefight alone, I didn't need to have online. That was the best part. It was the last game of the Halo franchise that needed to have online to function in its full capacity. I've had people come over and they don't know how to play. I put them in Firefight and I'm like, just doodle around. And then by the end of it, they're doing headshots. They're like, oh, did you see that kill streak? I'm just like, yes.
But would you say that the single player story is the Rogue One of Halo?
Holy
Okay, Evan, what's
yes,
your next
it is. Hell yes. It's Rogue One, but it's Rogue One better. Because rather than MacGuffins and things, it's sheer holy when Kat died to a headshot out of nowhere in a cutscene, I was like, what the f-? I was like, well, we're screwed. Like she was the only like motivative entity in the party. But then, oh dude, every single spoiler, you know, for
I need to replay that
game.
I mean,
It's so
good. What's his name? Not Jack.
15-year-old game.
The big
Jill?
dude.
George.
I don't know his name.
George, yeah. When George
Just
yeets you out of the ship, but you just watch it explode in the distance. You're like, no,
No, all to find out, dude. That cutscene was when I played this game the first time, I was like, oh, cool. They kind of did like Halo, you know, Halo the early, basically what Master Chief did, but before Master Chief did it. I was like, oh, cool. They kind of paid homage to it because it's a precursor, dude. After he did that, and then the whole Covenant fleet showing up, I was like, dude died for no reason. Like straight up, he killed one ship.
Sucks.
50 showed up. I was like,
yeah.
and
Dude,
the whole game's that
It's a whole
way.
jaw drop.
Yeah,
It
the
builds
whole
you up.
and
Ugh.
yeah, and for all of it to come to the final objective of just survive and knowing that you can't is
Yeah.
like yeah.
It's how you
That
do
was
it
pretty
cool.
People modded the end to try and see like, oh, if you're immune, like what happens? And after a while, it just cuts. They're just like, no, you're done. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, what? That's like, but
Yeah.
it's a perfect example of like, okay, you've gone through this whole campaign. Here's your last hurrah. Like, give it your best. And
Yeah.
it's fantastic. I'm so happy it's existent in the canon, and I'm wholeheartedly hoping that Halo smartens up and maybe finds ways to kind of put more of those stories into the franchise. Because I mean, ODST was very good, and so was Reach. So you don't need Master Chief to make a great game, but you need good
No.
stories. And
Yeah,
much
no,
like
100%.
many of these games, it's just fantastic story after fantastic
Yeah.
story. So
And,
But Evan-
you know, yeah, and what's great about this now is that I don't really have to harp on my fourth because it's the same as Nathaniel's. So I'll just skip to my third. No, I'm
Okay.
kidding. Well, no, I mean, yeah, well, yeah, sorry. Spider-Man was great. Yeah, pretty much everything that we said before. You know, walking simulator, all that garbage. It was great. I fell in love with the character again after a lot of games, and then shortly after, it was in the middle of all that hype. So, it was just right time, right game, right time. It was amazing. Number three for me. Oh crap! Where'd my list go? No.
While you look for it, I will go to my number 3.
Yeah, you
My
go to
number
your
3 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So
Of course.
ever since I was a child, 1998. No, I think I played it the year after. The original Smash Bros. You know, man, all the Smash Bros. Have played like a critical part of my life, kind of like Halo and David's. I have so many friendships like thrive and fail. No, not they don't. You know, it's just like there's so much rage and anger that comes into those play sessions when you're playing with your friends. But it's it's all in good fun at the end of the day. It's just everything I love about fighting games. Like I love like 2D fighting games like Guilty Gear and Street Fighter and all that. But
Yeah.
Smash Bros is just something that no fighting game has been able to capture. And there's like just the party aspect of it, with the 8 players in Ultimate and every single character
Yeah.
from all the other Smash Bros games rolled into one. Like if that was the last Smash Bros game they ever made, I would be. And it's it's the Smash Bros game I always wanted as a teenager in my adult years, and it's just such a perfect like a encapsulation of every single Nintendo franchise rolled into one, and I'll always be grateful that exists.
all that to say, still no Waluigi.
Dude,
Still no
don't even
Waluigi.
start,
He's in
bro.
the new
Don't
Mario.
even start. They added Piranha Plant, bro. Piranha Plant before Waluigi.
Yeah, they're definitely memeing. I
God.
love Piranha Plant though. As stupid as a character it is, he's fun.
God. Yeah, the funny I love the memes and the videos that were made. It was always just like, oh, Waluigi didn't like register his PO box, so he never got the letter, and like other shit like that. I'm like, oh, it's so fucking brutal. Poor guy. Eventually,
Oh man.
I mean, hopefully.
I don't
That's
know
such a
about
great
that.
game. You know what was amazing about Ultimate was it was the Smash Bros that made the DLC worth it. Like, and that's
Yes.
rare for a lot of games where the DLC is like worth paying into. And this is coming from a guy who shelled out way too much money when it came to Destiny. And I was like, oh, cool. Every single DLC is just resetting the game because it just means if you didn't get the DLC before, you're sucking ass the rest of the game. And
Yeah.
Ultimate was not the case. Ultimate was, hey, you want more cool stuff? Well, here you go. And it was
Every
literally
stages music.
oh,
Hey, David, what's your number 3?
my number 3. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've done handheld, we've done console. Now we have to go to a different console.
Phone.
We have to jump to phone console. Yeah, Angry Birds for the iOS. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no-
I am
Uh,
going
best-
to riot.
Best game to
Okay.
play while you're taking a
Yeah, it's the best game. No, I've probably said this one to oblivion, and I'm gonna keep saying it. But
Is it
computer,
Oblivion?
it is not oblivion. Although,
what,
Not
Civ
Ultimate.
5?
no, but I've been kind of getting back into that lately, and
Of
then
course you
I've been
have.
I've been playing on Deity, and then screaming at Kamehameha because he keeps putting near my kingdom when I've told him not to.
Anyway,
Is that your
okay,
number
so-
2?
And it's funny
What's
when
your
you play
number
that game where you have you basically have something happen in the like ancient era, and then finally when you reach the atomic era, you're like, remember when you killed my goddamn settler? Here's a nuke on your capital, asshole. And it's like passive aggressive. No reason, but and then you just like you get to that point in the game where you could have won, but you put way more resources in just nuking the other people to death and using giant space robots. Anyway, my number 3 is RuneScape for reasons everyone already heard a billion
yes,
times.
Of course. Yes,
And more
yes.
specifically now it's considered old school RuneScape because regular
Right.
RS3 sucks giant it
Donkey
that's how bad
schlong.
it is. Yeah.
Donkey schlong.
It's so bad. But yeah, I think for the most part, I've talked enough about old school RuneScape. If you want to do anything, you can play this, pick this up. The one problem I've heard people say is when they pick it up, they're like, "Well, what do I do?" And it's like, "Dude, do whatever you want. Like, you could be a chef. You can literally like go kill things. You can make a house. Like, do whatever the you want to." And yes, it's grindy, and yes, it's WoW, but better in my opinion.
And you can
because
only
it's-
play you can only play if you're a virgin. So
Wow. Confirmed. So I've been playing it my whole no I'm kidding. I wanted to put something on here that like encapsulates like what I feel like a good amount of time. And I've already said on this podcast how many hundreds of hours I put into RuneScape. And there's people out there, dude, I can
so wait, hundreds.
hundreds, so many hours. I don't have an updated number, but I remember when I was talking about this in a previous podcast, I had something close to like 1,600 hours or something ridiculous put into it. And,
Oh my god.
yeah, I was like, how many days is that? And I didn't want to do math because I was scared,
Yeah,
but I
because
put
it's
way
too
more
many
into
for
it.
sure.
Since,
Too many. It's too
I
many
put-
hours.
but I put way more into it since then. So I'm almost assured that I'm at 2,000, and it's not like I'm trying to get there. It's just I've found that much to do in this game.
God, do you remember what grass feels like?
I smoke it every day.
It's gross.
So when I go and no, I don't partake in the ganger. So this game, the horn.
Forge ready, blaze it.
Yeah.
RuneScape.
I can't say enough about this game other than the fact that if you haven't played it, you'll just found a new person in yourself, and you'll be like, oh, I am now going to
A
just spend
dork.
so much time. Dude, I spent it's so bad that every bit of that game has statistics that you can track on your account now, which I hated, but I
Oh,
loved.
no.
Because when it did show up, it told you how much time you spent doing activities. And so I
Right.
was like, oh, well, that's funny. Like, how much did I spend doing this? I've spent over 390 hours just cutting trees down in the game.
You
Not
did
even
that in
joking.
Minecraft.
Yeah, except it's not as fun. But
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, god damn,
Wow,
Minecraft
bro
was
could have
also
done that in real life and built a whole
yeah,
virtually
It's just as
genuinely.
time.
it's
I
just as
love it.
pixelated though.
It
Anyway,
is.
so okay, so I got my number 3. My number 3 is Dragon Ball Budokai 3.
Nice.
Oh,
Explain
like
why the third one.
well, because okay, so the first one was good for its own reason, story wise. 2 was weird. 3, it was like the culmination of all of them, and not Tenkaichi, not Budokai Tenkaichi,
Mhm.
but Dragon Ball Z Budokai, because that was like the Dragon Ball Fighters before, in a way, where it was like the scrolling fighting style where locked on a rail and you can dash around each other and stuff, and there was a lot of really cool fight dynamics in it, and it was just awesome, and like I played the out of that all the time, and it was doing like the Dragon Ball what ifs and stuff, like before Dragon Ball uh Sparking Zero, and all that stuff, and it was cool because then you could go around and like the Dragon World and like throughout the story, and like you can unlock Super Saiyan 4 in a weird way, and yeah, it was just so much fun, and I played with my friends all the time, and yeah, it was awesome, and
Mhm.
I got the remastered version where it had Budokai 1 and Budokai 3 on Xbox. They left out 2 because no one liked 2. And I just played Budokai 3 all, and it was awesome. And I love that game so much.
I love
Okay.
when you could take a property and make a proper game out of it,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man and other stuff. It's so good.
Yeah. And when it was great too is that you could essentially do a new game plus with it, and you can go through the story again. You level up the character. You can play through like each character's story. So pretty much every fight that they are in the anime, you go through all those fights as each of those characters. So as Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Tien, Yamcha, all that stuff. But as you go through, you can level up health. You can get better punches. You can have better key storage or usage or stuff like that. But what's great is that you can go through the story again with all of your updated stuff. So you can fight Raditz and then just go to Super Saiyan 3 and kick his
Yeah.
ass. It's awesome. I did that all the time. So it's like I would just go straight up. When I get to Frieza, I would just go straight to Super Saiyan 4 and just start wrecking his and it's so cool. And Budokai 3 is peak Dragon Ball. Like it and the only thing that has really surpassed it is Sparking Zero. And that essentially, which is Budokai Tenkaichi 4, essentially, but they just called it Sparking Zero, which was the original name of Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi in Japan. It translates to Sparking Zero. That's what it was originally called. And when it came to America, they named it Budokai Tenkaichi. So that's a little nerdy fun fact for you.
Yeah, a little
Good
trivia.
fact. I like
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
a good fact.
yeah. But yeah,
Number
yeah.
two.
Number
Great
2.
choice. So my number 2, well, I don't want to say it that way, but so
My
I love Final
feces.
Fantasy. I love Final Fantasy a lot. My first Final Fantasy that I ever played was Final Fantasy X. Basically, each game is a standalone. Even though they're numbered and they sound like sequels, they're really not. There's carryover stuff like characters named Sid. There's Chocobos. There's just, but So recently, I think it's last year, Final Fantasy Rebirth came out, which is the second game in a trilogy of remakes for Final Fantasy VII. And oh my gosh, I love that game so much. I spent over 100 hours beating it to the point I almost got burnt out because it has like an insane number of mini games in it with so many different like gameplay elements, and it's like almost too much content. But it is one of the most video gamey games I've ever played in a good way. Um, and I actually was gonna put it on my list at number 2, but honestly, I think Final Fantasy X played such an important part in my teenage years. I think it's really when I fell in love with JRPGs. It's just the story in that game is so meaningful. Like it's in the game you play as Tidus, and you go on this quest with the summoner, Yuna, and you have her fulfill like this religious pilgrimage to the end of the game. And I'm just gonna spoil it because it's been out for a million billion years, but you find out during the quest that Yuna's actually going to sacrifice herself to get rid of Sin, this giant entity who's terrorizing and killing people. And Tidus is like, he doesn't want to go through it. He's like, I'm literally helping you commit suicide. Like, it's not worth it. You shouldn't kill yourself to save these people. Like, you need to stay. And they have a romance that builds up, and it's just by the end of the game, like Tidus, you find out you're not even real, you're a dream. Like Tidus is
Damn.
yeah. And it's like one of the biggest like plot twists, and it's so sad because he does fade away, and like it's like he never existed. And it's just the gameplay is turn-based, and it's such a good product of its time. And a lot of people think that Final Fantasy captured the magic that the series has since then. I think they've had a lot of good games. There's just something special about that game and the score, everything about it. I wish they didn't make the sequel because it kind of retconned a lot of stuff and messed it up. But just ignore that 10-2 exists. So that has a special place in my heart.
Damn. I think that's something we've all kind of shared a part of most of these games is like story is such an important part of like why a game is a lot of like it's a lot just because it carries you along, so you kind of invest automatically in it, but it's also like how much that story identifies with you as a person and like what you take away from it. And I definitely think
and other people too. It's another way of connecting,
especially when you have like other people who play and they're like they all experience similar circumstances, so you have that in that common mentality, you have that shared. And it's interesting, like most of the picks that we have for these, they all kind of reach that same level. But
yeah. Or you can play multiplayer and scream at each other. True. It's another way of connecting. Okay, who's got the next number 2?
David.
Oh god. Oh god. You're gonna make me pick.
Don't disappoint us.
Oh, don't disappoint you.
What is it?
I'll give you a spoiler. I already have. No, I'm kidding. So I've done DS, I've done 360, I've done computer. Now we're hopping to GameCube. And there's lots of games I could talk about. Super Mario Sunshine, Mario Kart Double Dash, Pikmin, like Metroid. There's so many games on there, but unfortunately, Nathaniel and I don't quite agree on which Smash Bros is the best. It's Super Smash Bros. Melee, obviously.
Oh,
in that game. You want to talk about throwing hands because somebody punishes you at the end of a 3-stock match? That game, goddamn. I grew up across the street from my neighbor Sean. He had a GameCube. He had all those games. He had Super Mario Sunshine. He had GoldenEye Nightfire, which that's a very fun game too. But the game we played the most out of all the games we played was Super Smash Bros. Melee. And when you talk about like you start off and it's so fun and you get to punch each other off the stage, it's funny. A week later, you're like looking up hit boxes. You're looking up on Game Informer. On the Game Informer magazine, it's showing you each individual
Oh,
hit
that's old.
box.
That's old school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had it, and oh my god, let me tell you, I was like so invested in making myself functionally good. Because I mean, my neighbor Sean, he was my oldest brother's age, so I was young lad dude. My senses and neurons weren't all crafted, and some say they're still not. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna probably need a lot of help to get good at this. Also, didn't help that I picked like Ganondorf as a character, the slowest, and I was like, okay, I can track him because my other siblings chose like
I mean, he's
Star
a brick
Fox and
house, so
dude, he will literally just like lay pipe in your ass if you're not careful, and that's exactly what I tried to do.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh,
That's not the game
Roto-Rooter,
I
here we
remember.
go. And I was so invested in this, and let me tell you, like, I was like, I, there's so many moments I could talk about, but I'm going to talk about one. They had tournament mode, as everyone kind of is familiar with. I was very, very new at this game. I had Ganondorf, and so in tournament mode, you kind of get broken up. We decided, you know what, we're going to do the biggest. We're going to do the 64 bracket tournament mode, and we're going to sit and watch. And so we played kind of like it was sort of like not really like a final four for like NBA, but we kind of played like who do we think's going to win? And all of the, CPU hardness was like, adjusted. Anyway, it ended up my friend Sean, me, and my brother Daniel were in like the final 8 bracket, and they were getting like somewhat easy targets, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get like easy too. I went up against a level 9 Captain Falcon, which is basically a clone of Ganondorf, and I was like, he's faster. He's gonna just he's going to them my front lawn, and I'm just gonna have to smell the roses that come from it after. I you not. I like never in my life focused so hard as I did in that game, and it was a 3 stock, and I won with 230% damage on me. I won somehow, and I was like maybe 13, maybe 12. So at that point, it was just all emotions, and I was just like, "Holy, I did it!" And then immediately got clapped by a level 9 Jigglypuff the next bracket. But I was like, "My life." But I think of that to this day. I was like, dude, it was such a back and forth, and I like it, and it was so, and of course it was on Final Destination, and holy, like, there were so many things in that game I could talk about. That one was a standout, so that's why that one's number 2 for me. What's yours, Evan?
Mine is God of War.
Hell yeah!
Oh, I can't I played through that story multiple times. Every time I cried. It becomes the score, the acting, story, the actual just like combat. There was a lot of very lore accurate representation of like Norse mythology, which was great. And also just like kind of like fun takes on Norse mythology with like Loki and all that stuff. And then they had a DLC that came out that explored Kratos' backstory and just like his trauma, where you go through Valhalla and go through all the trials and everything. And oh gosh, it's chef's kiss.
So fun and so good, yeah. And it's like him and Mimir go on like a bro journey where they're just like kind of reflecting on Kratos.
Bro trip. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I was a terrible person. It's like, well, you changed. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's great.
As I say, you were, brother. You were. You're not anymore. And it's it's great. I love all the characters, even the ones that you hate. They're like Heimdall is great because a lot of people would like see gameplay of it and be like, I thought dickhead in Norse mythology. He's an asshole. Like Marvel made him cool, but he in Norse mythology he's a dickhead. So
as are most of them.
as are most of the Aesir gods. But yeah, so I thought it was a great game. I love the hell out of it, and so
yeah, I wish I could. That would it would
I wish I
maybe be
could
number
play.
6 or
I,
something, but
I wish I could play it again for the first time. You know what I mean? Like that's
seriously,
Yeah.
like
it
that,
just
the-
like
that-
it took what the first God of War 2018 did, and
Yeah,
just like
that's an
transcended it.
honorable. Yeah, that one's an honorable mention for me as well. Like it's probably like 6 because it's
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, Nathaniel.
Yeah, we're running out of time, but I'm gonna keep it kind of brief. The Last of Us Part 2. So very controversial game for a lot of people, and I think it's
100%.
because of how dark and traumatic and like I
The
guess
choices that
dissonant
they-
it is.
The choices that they made character wise was very controversial.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is because it came out like 7 years after the first game, and a lot of people hold the first game, The Last of Us Part 1, including myself, like in really high regard. It's because it took a lot of mature themes and character and did something in the zombie genre that a lot of other stories have a lot of characters. This focus on 2 characters, Joel and Ellie, and it just did something really special with them.
Yeah, and then the
And
show
the second one
just made it garbage.
Oh my gosh, the show. So the second game is just like, because it takes a very
takes a very
dark,
sharp turn.
extreme. Basically, it just focuses on revenge, PTSD, like hate, and all these very just like difficult to deal with
emotions
that don't feel good emotions. I think it transcends the first game and is such a good continuation because it does something in a way you don't expect. And I remember playing this game, and when the certain moment hit, like I'd never had a story game make me feel like anger and hate before. I had to turn off the game for a bit, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm feeling, but it's not good feelings. And I played through the rest of the game, and it's such a good like descent into madness. It's like what you're doing doesn't make sense because the character's so broken. I'm actually replaying it through it right now because the second season of the show came out, and it is a garbage fire. Like it is so bad, and it's so disappointing. I really liked the first season HBO did, but the second season, it's like they were scared of the backlash they got when the second game came out from certain people. So
Well,
it's
so funny too because I saw a lot of memes going. It's like they always like to change, and like from like when it comes to adaptation stuff, this is the one thing we would have been with.
Yeah, and I think they were like scared of a backlash. So what they did is they toned it down and like made it. It's bad. It's just bad. They got rid of the whole reason why the second game was good and controversial.
It's funny too because it's like I feel like I haven't really watched it, but all I've heard there's not a lot of like grieving. It's just like anytime Ellie is like traveling with her girlfriend or whatever, it's just all.
Yeah, it's like a happy-go-lucky like romance.
It just turned into a rom-com, and it's like right, but what about the revenge and the stuff about Joel? Do we not care about that anymore?
And then you see some of the behind the scenes stuff just to wrap up. And the showrunner Craig Mazin, you realize the first, I think it's 5 episodes out of the 7 he wrote by himself, and he didn't have Naughty Dog, the people from it, Neil Druckmann and all them, and Haley Gross, like they weren't part of it, and that's why it's so bad. He fundamentally misunderstands. And it's not until the last 2 episodes that it's good. God. Yeah, so that's too bad. It's too bad. But that game, like,
and
I
didn't
love reliving the trauma.
It didn't like none of the people working on it like ever play the game.
That's what it seems like. I mean, he talks about behind the scenes,
there was like some of the actors. There were some of the actors that even said when they were asked, like, "Are you going to play the games or have you played the games?" They'd be like, "No, and I don't think I have to." It's like,
wow.
I know that's happening with the God of War show. They literally the showrunner's like, I tried to play, and I stopped because I it wasn't for me or something. It's like, what? He's like, I couldn't do it.
Why are you playing the show? Oh my
I know.
gosh.
It's for Amazon. I hope at least he watches, but I don't have. Anyway,
David, what's your number 2?
Yeah, number 1.
What?
Number what?
Yeah,
number 1. Sorry,
this is his number 1.
Number 1.
Yep. Number 1.
So, number 1. Fallout 4, unabashedly.
Oh yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
that game can like a whore in Reno. It could suck me in. No, I'm kidding. It's such a f***ing game. I played it initially the first time when it first came out, and I was kind of like, I played New Vegas, so I was kind of like elitist mentality. I was like, oh, it's not New Vegas, man. Oh, what is this? Oh, QuickTime? What is this? A first-person shooter? God damn it! So I was like, oh, this is like okay, and God, now that game, it doesn't matter if I pick it up just to be like, oh, I'm just gonna play like a couple minutes. My month's gone. My month's gone, and I'm gonna be watching the show again. I'm gonna be like, let me play New Vegas too. You know what? Maybe I will buy 76. And it's like me, like I have so many like things about it that I could say, but I mean, it's such a media piece at this point. If you don't know about it or don't play it, I mean, you're losing out. You really are. All these games we've talked about, you're losing out if you don't play them. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's such a huge game. I mean, beyond just what it's become and what Bethesda's like crafted it to be over
Be
time,
the
it's
star.
ugh, dude.
Be the
It's
star. You
be
must
the
be
star.
the star.
I have to say, for them doing what they did in the show, I was expecting clunky. I was expecting like not to say
Last-
the
Did you like the
Bethesda-
show? Did you watch it?
I love the show. Oh yeah, I
It
watched
was so good,
I
wasn't
finished
it?
That's
It
what
is
I'm
so
saying.
good.
It's like everyone that played Fall
Ugh.
watched the show. They were like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then everyone who loved Last of Us is and seeing
Yeah.
all the Fallout fans and being like, "Yeah, no, this is great too. No, we love this too."
Yeah.
And it's
Dude.
nice because the first season of The Last of Us was phenomenal. Like it was a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
adaptation. And
No,
then they
no,
went
it
to
was
two,
good.
and it's like, let's take a number 2 on number 2.
Well, hey, now it's only the first season. The second season's gonna come out of Fallout, so they have time to f it up. Much like the
Well, the
Witcher.
good thing
They
is
have time to fuck it up.
they're not
but
like directly adapting anything. They're doing their own thing, and it's working great.
yes, as they should. And they're bringing back most of the cast, so good. And I'm excited because they crescendoed to New Vegas. So goddamn, if they do Caesar's
Oh.
Legion, if they do dude, there's so much stuff they could do. And based on the timeline, it's gonna be after a lot of stuff happens. So it'd have to be like something where
I
like
have a
they
bullet
find
that
the
I'm
end
saving
of
just for me.
yeah, oh dude. Oh my god. I love that. The introductions, the characters themselves, like I love
Game
the
was written
flaws.
from the start.
Dude, it was so
All,
Yeah.
there's so many quotable lines from that. It's crazy.
Oh,
it's
you
so
saw
good.
it too, Evan?
No, I'm just talking about the games. I'm not even talking
Oh,
about
okay.
the show.
Wait. Matt Berry's
Dude.
in the show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
hmm
So good.
But-
So good.
Evan,
I
what's
can't-
your number 1?
Oh, my number one. It's similar to my number 5, where I can't pick just one. It's a trilogy. Mass Effect.
Hell yes.
I have the remastered trilogy. I play through them like at least once a year. Like one, yeah. Oh gosh, if I had to pick one out of the 3 of them, it'd probably be Mass Effect 2. But you like if you like, you really can just consider it all, because like especially if you get the remastered trilogy, you can just play them back to back to. Like
Because it really is one big story. Yeah, it's
It-
kind of
it-
like Last of Us Part 1.
It
and
is just one
But
big
with-
story,
but with
and
Mass Effect.
yeah, but with Mass Effect, the ending of third kind of but like they fixed it with DLC and all that stuff, so that's fine. But yeah, like you fall in love with all these characters, like they're and this is before, you know, games got super preachy, and you know it's not like, you know, Dragon Age Veilguard or you know, it's not like any of these games. Like all the characters are actual characters, and like and even the ones that you don't like talking to, they're still good characters. That's the thing. And it's oh my gosh, like I'm gonna get, like, I have a Mass Effect tattoo, and I'm gonna get more, and oh gosh, if I like I can't even I couldn't even tell you, like as I say, like I love Grunt, I love Rex,
Garrus.
Garrus is the homie, man.
Oh, man.
and yeah, and it's what's so great about it. It is like the story is so good, and it really utilizes Paragon and Renegade um like options, and it really makes kind of gives you like a real chance to kind of like to play a character the way that you want, but through story and narrative, not as like a build. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of these games now are like, oh, you can play your character however you know, but you have these set dialogue options and you can't, do whatever. Mass Effect, you can straight up choose between two races and like one gets genocided. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like
Uh-huh.
Brutal.
unless you play all three games all the way through, build up enough Paragon or Renegade, because if you just play 3 on its own, you won't have enough.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because like
Yeah.
there's like almost no games. There's so many games that pretend to have choices that impact stuff, but Mass Effect, like you
Mass
said,
Effect
it'll
straight up. Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
like you'll
It
have a
changes. Yeah, it changes everything. You can choose whether or not the council in the first game lives or dies, and you have council or you have the council that you save. You
and there'll be characters show up or die and they won't be part of the
yeah.
story anymore.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
incredible.
it's insane. Like if you don't do the right things in the right order in 2, you like your whole crew will die, or yeah, and then in 3 you have these two races of aliens, and it's like you could save both or you can save one or the other, or you could save neither. And it's crazy to me that like and Mass Effect 3 came out in 2008.
Hmm.
So it's crazy to me that like these games like are so old, but like still hold up so well, and oh gosh, it's insane to me. Like it,
Yeah.
like I can
They
never play another game that will enthrall me and will like have me like in like enriched in the story as much as Fallout, not Fallout, Mass Effect.
yeah, I think they did
um,
something that it's like I don't think any game's going to be able to recapture what they set out
no.
to do and accomplish. It's
Mm-mm.
just,
and
because
and that's what and
it
I was kind of bummed out that Andromeda kind of fizzled out because it had potential, but they're coming out with Mass Effect 4 now.
yeah.
Um,
And I think they're
they're
taking from Andromeda and from 3 or something, right? They're trying to like
yeah. Well, that's the thing.
I don't have faith
Yeah.
in BioWare anymore, honestly. Most of the
Well,
talent that made the Mass Effect games aren't there anymore.
yeah. I mean, the end of Veilguard kind of gives me hope because the end of Veilguard, like the story, is pretty good. So I'm like,
Okay.
okay. So it does kind of give me some hope that it's gonna be all right. I hope that they take the feedback from that they got from Veilguard and then actually apply it to Mass Effect, and they don't just do what they did with Veilguard and then make it Veilguard in space. That's what I'm hoping for,
Yeah.
because if that happens, Mass Effect's dead after that. 100%. It's dead after that. But only time will tell.
Yes.
Speaking of time, we are so out of it. So thank you
We had too
so
much
much
fun.
yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. Talking about things that we like, we're gonna keep talking about it until someone tells us to shut up, and that someone has to be us eventually. So,
Which makes it hard.
oh God, yeah, I know. But thank you so much for listening. And thank you all for tuning in again. This is, we can't thank you enough. Thank you, David and Nathaniel, joining me again. This
Of
really
course,
weird
yeah.
thing that we do sometimes. Whenever we have time.
I feel like
But
at this
Being
point
old
we
sucks.
should rebrand ourselves to We're Back, but just paste our faces over the dinosaurs every time.
We are so almost back.
roll back the rock to
Maybe.
okay, bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to keep up with Nerdin' Out, you can follow us on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and YouTube. As always, you can email us at nerdandoutpodcast@gmail.com. You can use the subject line Flavor Blasted to email us any ideas for our podcast, questions, comments, or you can just harass us.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, what is that? Is that a mix something?
No. it's
What
one of
is
the-
that candle? Stop it.
What?
Is that
The
flavor
Guy
toner?
Fieri. The Guy Fieri candle.
Do you ever light that?
Oh yeah.
That
Whenever I'm about to eat something absolutely abhorrent to society and life, I light it, say a quick prayer to the Flavor Town chief.
I can't breathe. I almost bought someone a Nicolas Cage candle, like one of those that has him like looking like Jesus.
You
Oh,
should.
man.
I want one where it's Nicolas Cage's Superman. That's what I
Oh
want.
man,
That's some crusty
That-
CGI man right there.
I did not
Mhm.
expect that. Oh,
What,
man,
him
that's
being
beautiful.
in the Flash movie? Yeah, no one did.
What? Oh no, I'm talking about your candle.
The Guy Fieri candle.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you two guesses who gave it to me.
William.
I am sorry. You are the weakest link. It was
Was it
Preston.
well, I was gonna say you gave me two guesses. That was
It's
gonna
true.
be my second one.
I
mean-
the only two guesses it could be.
It's
Yeah, I
only
know,
two.
right?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
only
pretty
two.
Preston-
impressed, and let's just say that.
Hey David, you wanna back up from the mic a little bit? You're sounding a little crusty.
Yeah.
What's your fucking deal, man? I didn't say Jack last time, and I figured how it sound.
Oh
You
my
son of a
God.
bitch.
We
That
have to cut
sounds
this out.
man. That sounds like you're talking through a bag of Doritos.
This better?
That, and then you have
Yeah,
your tongue in
yeah.
my ear, and
Yeah,
it
that
has
is-
like
that is
spikes
better.
on it.
He's got a cat tongue with the barbs on it.
Oh, I regretted seeing those like up close.
You guys have seen an echidna penis, right?
Unfortunately,
How is this a fucking podcast? Can we just pause for a second? Can we just
I actually
pause?
haven't,
Why are we
thankfully. I've
talking
seen a
about
duck's
cat
one.
tongues and echidna penises and Guy Fieri candles?
What
Like,
is
Back
no,
up,
no,
bro.
no, seriously? What is? Turn down your gain or something. You're like
Is your
crunchy.
Do you have your puff guard?
I don't
It's because you're a
smoke.
little close.
That's my puff guard.
Now you're too far.
Well, no, that's fine.
All right, speak.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is like if
Oh,
he's
you want me
back,
to speak?
if he's back a little bit, but with the puff guard, and if it sounds a little quiet, he will be heard. That's not the
Yeah.
problem.
I mean, I could always
Yeah.
raise him, but I also want to make sure he's nice and like deep and like full sound.
So I can stand
on your ass. What?
I'm not familiar with that version.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Paul,
You
then.
needed me to speak. Here, I'll do this. I'm gonna speak, and as I speak, I'm gonna change settings, and just tell me which one sounds the best.
No,
alright?
don't.
I don't think
just-
you need settings.
go.
It's just yeah.
RuneScape is a fantasy massively multi-online player role game published by Jagex and released in January of 2001. RuneScape
Oh my
A little back up a little bit. A little bit.
Little bit.
C++ client 2016. The game has over 30 million.
Split the difference.
Okay.
Just all right. Speak normal.
Okay.
A little closer or louder.
I think he just needs to get closer to the mic, but
Yeah.
like he needs it's
Okay.
But,
This is actually
yeah.
good. I'm not.
It's better.
it's better.
tiny-
I would.
How-
Yeah, I was gonna say
Because my
like,
mouth is maybe like
Ah.
a few inches away from my mic.
I'm
Yeah, and
literally
I'm-
sitting like a foot and a half away in this.
Oh, that's too far.
Too far.
That's way too far. A foot and a half is too far from the mic.
yeah,
Closer to the mic.
that's better. You just got the puff guard and stuff, so you're fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right. Pause. I'm gonna start the episode.